Hey guys, what's going on? So I've been living with the Active AutoWorks Design exhaust for about 3-ish weeks now, and I really like it. It's got a nice sound, nice tone that I really enjoy. It's pretty quiet, so it's not obnoxious. I live in a pretty quiet neighborhood, so I don't think my neighbors would enjoy that too much. But there is one problem, and that problem is actually drone. You'll see in my other video on how do you resolve drone on your car. And I've done all the stuff that you can do with actually putting on sound deadening, etc. in the trunk. It has helped a little bit, admittedly, and I don't really hear it. But the truth of the matter is, when I'm driving around, I don't want other people to kind of be like, oh, look at that obnoxious car. And the other part of it is obviously when I want to roll with the windows down, I don't want to hear it. Now, it only really drones at exactly between 1900 and 2000 RPM, so it's a really narrow drone moment. The problem is you're actually in that exact rev band in EcoPro and Comfort quite a bit. So if you're just cruising, no issues. The second you hit the gas and you try to kind of accelerate, that's where EcoPro goes to, and it kind of holds you there. Yes, if you're in sport, it'll rev right through it, no problem. But I don't want to use sport all the time. And I also don't want to set myself up to be cruising at a highway, and I haven't actually encountered this, and actually be in the drone zone. So I had an idea. When you look at the Active AutoWorks exhaust, on the right side of the exhaust, that tailpipe is fixed. It comes from the factory, that way it's welded. The left side one is actually held on by a clamp. So if you remember from my install video, they sent me the wrong clamp. Gave me a great idea. So if you look at the stock exhaust, it actually has that radius, and you follow it and you'll see there's a valve right there. That's the valve holder. That's a valve and the valve holder and the servo holder. And so my idea was, if I could cut that off, use that in place of the piece that came with the Active AutoWorks design, I could essentially insert a valve into their exhaust and get the best of both worlds. Dual exhaust when I want it, and then EcoPro and Comfort, I'm pretty sure that valve stays closed. So here's what I got. I actually bought an exhaust off of eBay, that exhaust, but the guy was really, really gracious, and he actually cut the end off of me. Because if you imagine trying to pay for shipping for that, it would be a lot of money. So he actually gave me a really good deal, cut the end off. I just need to get this piece, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to insert this into the Active AutoWorks exhaust and try to make myself a replacement tailpipe. The only issue is here's the AA exhaust tip, and you can imagine on that side it'll be the same issue with the muffler. Really loose. So a couple of things that I need to do. I bought a 2 1/8 inch inner diameter pipe, which actually fits pretty well onto here. I have to force it. So that'll kind of sleeve this thing, but it's still a little bit small. So the only way for me to make this work is actually either I get an adapter that goes from 2 1/8 inner diameter to 2 1/2 or 2 2/4 outer, which I didn't really see available, or I actually have this stainless steel here. And I've been trying to practice my welding, and what I'm thinking is we're literally talking about 1.5 millimeters. If I can roll this into stainless steel and weld this on, just tack it really, then I should be able to actually create a sleeve around this that'll be just as good as having a pipe of the right size. So that's what we're gonna work on tonight. So this stainless is actually pretty thin, so I'm actually just gonna use tin snips and hopefully be able to cut through this without too much trouble. All right, so what I've done here is I've actually, off camera, I finished cutting that piece of metal. It's actually pretty malleable, and what I'm doing is I'm using an exhaust clamp to actually form it to the thing I want to sleeve. Now, pretty good, got it decently tight. What I'm basically forming is a butt joint, and I'm going to try to weld that together. Now, It's been a number of years since I welded, and I just bought a super duper cheap welder. So I'm not sure how this is gonna go. So we'll give it a try. I'll do it on camera. You guys can see how it goes. So it's been a really long time since I've welded, and this material is very thin. So I'm actually not expecting good results out of this. But I'm willing to try it. So if you have an idea and you're willing to go for it, just try it. I mean, I'm gonna try to drop a quick tack weld, see if I can hold this thing together, and then we'll see if we can proceed down. And halfway through the welding, I actually switched the wire. So the wire that came with us, I don't think it did a really good job of shielding. So I actually switched to some pretty high quality wire, which is Lincoln electric wire. And it actually filled in pretty well. Now, this is not something I would ever show to the guy who taught me how to weld. This is really ugly. I blew through a lot of material with the original wire, which I'm now upset that I used it at all. But was able to actually fill in a lot with the Lincoln electric wire. So I'm pretty happy with this, actually. And again, not very pretty, but that's all we needed it to do. So I gotta keep grinding this down. Your welds will add a little bit of height. So I gotta grind through the welds and make them nice and flat. Okay guys, fast update for you. So I'm not proud of these welds. They are not very pretty, but they actually do the job. So what I'm trying to do right now is basically cut the pipe to match the exact radius and length of the one from Active AutoWorks. So I just laid them on top of each other basically, and nets out about right there. So you have a little bit of play that you can go back and forth a little bit. And so I'm just gonna cut this off, and then I'm gonna be transferring the valve back onto that, and then hopefully test this out. So this is just a test. If I do like the way this works, I'll actually take this to a shop that has a TIG welder and get them to do some stainless and insert that in there. So we'll see how it goes. So there you have it. I have the two pieces side by side. They're a pretty good match, which means they should probably bolt right up. So all I gotta do now is move that valve back onto, so all I gotta do now is move that valve from here onto here, and I should be able to plug this right in and see how it goes. This one's not even welded. It's such a tight fit. The only reason I welded this side to the pipe is because I wanted to make sure there's no exhaust leaks. And if there are, I'll probably just put some exhaust sealant on there. This is just temporary, I think. I don't like how not pretty it is compared to this one. And I think a nice shop, a reputable shop, should be able to just do that for me for not too much money. So let's try it. Let's see what happens. Okay guys, so everything is in place. I've actually installed that valve on that other pipe, and we're gonna give it the first test fire, see if it's any quieter.
definitely have an exhaust leak I gotta deal with, but heaps quieter.